Okay guys, so today's video I'm going to be going over the new Strafe Bowazon. Now, I've always been never a huge fan of this character. Requires super expensive gear for subpar gameplay. It's fun to mess around on, but it was never really a character that I liked playing a lot. They have made some pretty significant changes to Strafe though, and I think Strafe is honestly, I think, a bit better than multi-shot now, and that's just because they changed the base weapon damage of it. So previously, Strafe used to start at 75% of your weapon damage, and then it would add additional damage per level. So kind of similar to multi-shot. That's no longer the case. So you have additional damage, and as long as you're attacking small clusters of targets and not kind of having monsters surrounded you, it actually works really well. So this is a top tier gear setup, but I was actually pretty surprised, excuse me, on the Players 8 Clear Speed and Chaos Sanctuary for a single solo character. So I do think Strafe is now the best BOA setup, depending on where you're farming. You did jinx me. But yeah, so I'm going to show off a couple things. The first thing I want to talk about is just the nature of Strafe before I jump into the character, so I'll quickly show this off. The cool thing is, as long as I'm focused on a small cluster of monsters, Strafe works really well. Where it kind of falls apart is when there's a lot of different monsters, so I want to showcase that. So areas like this, where you're shooting back and forth, Strafe is not as good. In situations like that, multi-shot would be better. But small clusters like this, where you can just focus on them, with the new Strafe damage, I think it's better. Now, I will do a Chaos Sanctuary run. Just want to quickly run over the character. So this is the very best possible gear, but it's just because I want to show off Players 8 difficulty. People might complain about a budget BOA in the comments, but I don't think a budget BOA exists, at least one that's not dog shit. So I have enough strength to equip my gear, and then everything else into dexterity. More points into dex is more damage. So when this guy's Might Aura kicks in, it'll show my full damage. Might be kicked in already. But I have 8,247 Strafe. And then I'm using Magic Arrow. That's another one I want to talk about when I go over the skill tree. They increase the amount of percent damage that's converted to magic. So I think that magic is kind of the go-to for physical immunes now. That's a skill tree, just max dexterity for pure damage. Excuse me, that's the attributes. The skill tree, so I put completely maxed out critical strike, then I put 100 point into penetrate, and then I put enough to get 70+% pierce. Paired with Razor Tail gives me 100% pierce. Put 1 into dodge, 1 into evade, and then I maxed avoid. I like using avoid when I'm standing still strafing. I just like that ability to dodge missiles when I'm kind of hanging back, so that's why I maxed it out. Javelin and Spear skill tree. Nothing. Now, you could mess around with like a Valkyrie or whatever. I do have extra points. Could use a Valk, it'll help. I guess maybe I'll put some points into Valk. There you go. So completely maxed out Valk. I don't really... like, Valk's not bad, but I just don't really use it. Set my hotkeys. But I don't think Valkyrie will make a big difference. Anyways, so I'm going to go run to Chaos Sanctuary on Players 1, and then I'll jump it up to... partway through the run, I'll go to P3, and then I'll switch to Players 8. So I just don't think Strafe works really well here in the River of Flame, just because of all the different locations monsters can come at you. I just want to try to get to Chaos Sanctuary as quickly as I can. They did also remove the cooldown on Valkyrie as well, yeah. Valk won't really do anything on Players 1, but he will help out on higher difficulty settings. But it's weird, it's like as soon as you get to Chaos and you don't have monsters all over the place, Strafe works a lot better. No, the source of amp damage, guys, is coming from my Atmosphere Abatement, which I realized I didn't go over the gear. So, I am using CTA and Lidless on the offhand. For the main hand, I have Faith, Fortitude, an Artesian's Tiara of Speed, so 30 fast roam walk with increased attack speed, E-Jewels, Atma's Scarab, Razor Tail, Dual Leech Ring, Raven Frost, 4 Traveler Boots, Laying of Hands, and then different max damage attack rating, Charms, and a Torch and an Annie. So this is a very expensive character. Like I said, Pride, Fortitude, and Crown of Thieves. Very expensive build, but I don't think there's really too many like budget Bowazons. So yes, it is a super expensive character, Brain Dumper, but I'm trying to demonstrate how good I think it performs now on P3 and P8. So we'll clear like up to 1 Chaos Seal on P3. The reason I'm using Atmas is because the amp damage actually kicks in a lot more frequently than you would think. And I think this is faster clear speed than multi-shot boa. Not a ton, but I do think it's marginally faster. And we'll jump up to players 8 for the rest of the run. So there's a physical immune. Switch to magic arrow. As soon as that amp damage kicks in, like, I don't think it's insane clear speed. Like, I'm not trying to make this video being like, oh, Bowazon, Strafe Boa now beats 15k magic hammers hammered in. But for the highest difficulty that you can get, this is definitely better than what the multi-shot Boa was at. The amulet that I'm using, Atma's Scarab, gives the chance to proc amp damage. Because this is like the hardest difficulty setting with like the best possible gear, but I think the changes that they made to Strafe are noticeable. I have tried Mist as well, like not for this video, but Mist was okay with like a Reaper's Toll Mercenary, but it didn't beat Fanazism Pride and using Atmas for an amulet. So that was pretty good for Final Seal Boss. Remember, this is players 8, Mono, but yeah, it could be... Like, I'm not saying I'd be against it doing more damage, but... I do think it's in a better state than what it was before. The only thing that changed on Valkyrie is that there's no cooldown on it. So when I cast Valkyrie, I can shoot arrows. Like, there used to be a 7-second cooldown delay. Hey, we got Rixit's Keen. So you could mess around with the skill tree, like not using Valkyrie, because she's just really like a meat shield. You could put more points into dodge or evade for a little bit higher chance. Like, you could get them all up to around 60. Yeah, guys, the Bowazon is in a bit better place. Strafe has been improved, but I do think it's better than multi-shot, but I still think a Bowazon is super expensive gear for, again, relatively subpar clear speed. But that's kind of my overview of the new Strafe Bowazon. Just let me know in the comment section below if you guys agree or disagree with the setup or any of the gear. On that, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.